way or just, oh, well, over here, signing and this is something that they both do, real estate. But in some places, they actually have a person that teaches it, that doesn't necessarily do real estate.
Really?
Yeah. Which to me is kind of like, okay, here we go again, what we've been accustomed to, right? Our school system, and I'm not political at all or anything, but our school system is absolutely archaic and broken, and you only teach people how to go get a job and work for somebody else. That's all it does. Okay? So I truly believe that they should have professors that run businesses, people that actually are living it, and some do, okay, some do, but most of them are just used to teaching theory. A lot of professors teach law, a lot of times they don't practice law. So they kind of stop on what they learned from the past. And that's why nowadays there's a big movement to and actually personally I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. I think it's just incredible what the way his mind works. Okay, and he's pushing a lot for education to change, to actually to have for the people that don't have the means, okay, to go to college, for them to have a trade. Yeah, it's in the problem is that a lot of the trade schools are actually in danger of being shut down, which it's crazy. I was involved with SWAC because I used to volunteer there to teach customer service and finance.
Her fault.
Tim, I didn't like you guys. Yeah. I was the first person right here. I would go pick on those guys.
All right,
When it's content.
glass comes water. But what we're saying is that it's so important that the people that teach this class, just like our education system, for them to be actually practitioners and to be out there and teach you what they actually do. Because you already know that the real estate licensing is absolutely archaic. There's absolutely not, well, a couple things, ethics especially, but there's nothing there that you use in real estate. So getting a license has nothing to do with doing real estate, right? So that's a perfect example of archaic systems. A lot of our laws are like still written in the 18, 19 way. That if you actually apply them, there's something there that are actually pretty funny. So the key to being successful in this business is just simply doing. Okay, so the reason why it depends on who teaches. Sometimes I actually come in to the class myself because I can always pick up a new nugget, right? If I pick up one little thing and I apply it, that's going to improve for me somehow. So the key the key points here, or the importance of this training, the training is important, but the activities that you do afterwards are key. Okay, your contacts, adding to the database. If we don't apply those, or if we don't do those things, all you're going to become is a very smart or a forever student. Because there's a lot of people that just love learning, but they never do anything with it. And a big way to prove it is that there's a lot of people that go and get a degree. I used to, when I was in banking, I barely got to high school. And that's because I came here when I was thrown already in, school year had already started. I was thrown into the 10th grade, not knowing a word of English, no barely itself. And, it was very, very challenging. But if you know exactly what you want to do and stick to it, I mean, you can do crazy things. I got into banking and I fell in love with it. Okay, and the reason why is because I wasn't smart to do anything else. No, no, seriously, I really loved it. And the reason why I made the decision was that, you know, I went to a bank with my dad to cash his check. He's Spanish, we do that. I don't know if they do it anymore because everything is electronic, but back in the day, they used to get a check and they would go to the bank and the kids or even the family would go with them. Right, so, and sometimes because I had to translate barely for my dad. And I see this guy, I'm in line at the bank, and I see this guy dressed up really nice. Tie, shirt, I mean, it was just fine. And for some reason, I just looked at his hands and he was counting his $100. And to me, that looked so good. And I told my dad, "That's what I want to do." Seriously, that's what I want to do. So, because I had just gotten out of mechanics class, then I realized that I did not like to get my hands so dirty. I let you do a secret. I've been getting manicures since I was 16 years old.
Yes. That's good.
And I just hated because I wanted to be like my dad, though. So my dad worked at the Beverly Hills Hotel, but on the side job, he bought cars. Okay, he repaired and resell them. So I was just like, always be around that, and I wanted to help. Then I realized, no. I didn't. So I went back to school on the 11th grade, okay? I remember, I mean, I was barely starting to speak a little bit. And the biggest thing when you're that age, is that you're so freaking embarrassed, because kids are freaking mean.
Yeah.
Right?
Always have been.
Yeah, so, but I figured out a way to take a Saturday class with back then Secure Pacific, that's dating me, really good.
Yes.
Okay, Secure Pacific, and, one of the, as, community, part of the Community Reinvestment Act, CRA, banks were required to actually invest in communities. And one of the executives was teaching, and I did really well in the class. They recommended me for a part-time job. So at the beginning of the 12th grade, I was going half a day to school and going to work in the afternoon. So that's how much education I got here, right? But the one thing that the reason why I give you that story is to connect it to the part of the education. Did everything from part-time to part-time teller to full-time teller, new accounts, everything. And I just worked myself up to like assistant manager, district manager, regional manager. And one of four executives from the bank right here. I told you that last time. Then I'm actually going, because I was in charge of 19 offices for Comerica Bank. I needed people all the time, constantly hired, right? So they would send me to the local universities, Santa Monica, Long Beach, Dominguez, even Harvard, and I will go and interview the new MBAs, the people that had just graduated and gotten their MBAs. And I will get to interview and recommend them for the management training program. Okay. But through the process of all that, I would be hiring people that had an art degree, that had some degree that they don't, people don't use. So, and they will come and be tellers for me. The education you're getting here today is only going to be good if you use it. This is, I mean, Well, I make more money than a doctor, I make more money than some attorneys, and I make more money than a lot of professions that span 7 so years. And you can do the same thing in this business. The reason why I left banking, and it was scary, is because I saw that. I saw the ceiling. I had gotten at that level to where I could not go anymore because I was competing with MBAs, PhDs, and I didn't have it. So I'm like, how am I going to break that? And in my mind, real estate was always the way. I had just never made, I wasn't able to make a decision until after my divorce because my wife wouldn't support it. Right? So, but if you, at any profession or whatever work you do now, if you see that, this right here is your tool to break it. And the way you're gonna break that, apply what you do. And what we're gonna cover today, okay? This right here, it's where the money is. You're only gonna have one job in the next 6 to 12 months. This is your job. I don't care how many classes you take. I don't care how many times you go to contracts. I don't care any other education. If you don't do this, you're never gonna write a contract. You're gonna know them. If you don't do this, you're never gonna learn escrow, but you're not gonna have one. Right? So everything else that you have learned so far is irrelevant if you don't do this. And it's the hardest part. I gotta tell you, Simon always said that this business it's not easy. No, he said also that it's not complicated. But it's not easy either. Because the things that we just don't have the discipline. And even when we're in this business for several years, we still, it's a constant fight with this. Okay. I like to motivate people, but I'm also based on the change of energy right now. Even that sound very pessimistic.
No.
Realistic? Absolutely. Okay. I just want you to know that to succeed, you're gonna have to work really hard. Right? Because if it was easy,
Everyone would do it.
and then it would be even harder, right? Because now we have a lot more people competing. The reason why this business is easy is because if you do these things, you run in circles around everybody else. They don't even know. I mean, and the weird part is that they're all walking around wondering, let's just do it. Just tell them, I got the phone. I called. I did my follow-up. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to put that because I truly want you to okay. This is what we're gonna cover. Lead conversion. I know you guys have been talking about your contacts, right? You've been talking about how many people you have on your phone, what to do with your database, how to make it pretty, how to make it easy. You know how many times I make my database pretty and easy? And didn't use it? Yeah. So, we give you when you get command, right? But when you start thinking you know what you're doing, oh, now you get introduced to other systems. And this one has its other bells and whistles, and oh my God, that one so might be better. So we go and switch to that system. The only problem is that we take us with it. Right? the system that works is the system that you're gonna use. This is your database right here, this is your system. The thing has notes, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff, right? You don't have to worry about that assistant if you use your phone and you just like scroll through the people that you know and press the button and that's your CRM. So the of course, being organized is important, but if you start early, it's going to be very easy. Because once you start getting a lot of contacts and you start piling them up and, oh, I'm gonna put them in the system tomorrow, and then you go to another open house and you bring another pile and the piles are getting big. You don't have to hire somebody to do it, because you're not doing it. It's just hard, it's harder to do it. So learn to organize your contacts or your centers of influence, the people that you know, church, friends, family, and organize, because from here on, every time you go to open house, the first thing should be in the morning, Monday, it would be the follow-up. Okay. I have I shared with you my book, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do is sometimes all four of us have open houses. And everybody on Monday morning comes in. First thing to do is to go through all of them, verify if they got the correct information by calling. A lot of people know. They avoid calling, so they want to, oh no, I have to put them on the system first. They might just put wrong information because so now you have a dirty system. And you end up with a bunch of contacts as long as you have the correct information. So the first thing to do is call.
You get them on the phone before you put them in your
Correct.
database.
Correct. Because otherwise you don't know if that phone number is good. If you send them an email and it bounces, well, that email is not good. And you know how often people lie when they actually sign up for it? Well, a lot. Do you know why?
They're not really
excited, just looking at the house.
Okay, anything else?
We did ask. We didn't ask, right?
I think it's
Okay.
just a defense mechanism, like you walk into a grocery store, there's a table there and sometimes you're like, I just, I'm so sorry, I got it,
Why?
I don't know.
They don't.
Oh, what do you know? What do you think?
No, it's not getting on.
Oh. Why do I do it? Why do I do it?
Why don't you?
Sometimes I
When you
don't.
see those tables that say like in the supermarket and stuff like that, why?
I talk to people, I'm never rude. I literally always, engage, but like, I don't stop sometimes, cause I just, time, our time is valuable sometimes. It just depends on what it is, So.
I was gonna say, you don't wanna be bothered.
Okay,
I think that we're programmed now to like be skeptical of even like a realtor. Oh my God, he's gonna sell my information.
okay,
So, or identity theft, or, things like that. So people, if they see it, like, oh, I'll just put John Smith.
no,
310-123-45678.
I just got a lead that cost me $60 and had the number. They put the cell and they put the home number, and the first number was 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and the second number was 98765. And I'm like, literally, I saw the first one, I'm like, the second one, I'm like. I opened that, it was backwards. Yes, but when stuff like that happens, I don't give up that easy.
Yeah.
I just simply let the company know that came through like that. They better send me another one. But, and then, yeah, I mean, it's leads are expensive. Especially seller leads. So, but they had the email, and the email was right. So, you don't stop there. Oh, no. No. Facebook, I mean, you can stop people so many ways. But hey, but you know, but if you want to be thorough, right? I mean. Nobody actually, you almost did, but nobody actually. Said the reason why. People either don't sign in, or they don't sign in with the correct information.
They don't be bothered.
No, that was said,
I don't sign it.
what?
I don't want you calling me, I don't want you texting me, I don't want you talking to me, I don't want to, I don't want to just stop, I'm busy, it's fine.
Very valid, huh?
We'll stop.
Okay, why would you change that and actually sign in?
Why will I sign it? I won't.
No. Why would you change what you said? You said you want to be better than all that, right? So what would make you actually sign in?
Nothing,
Nothing at all.
Oh,
unless they were giving away something. Especially they're giving away something, no. No.
you,
Yes,
can I just say, you weren't good at your job, it was your fault, you weren't convincing enough?
I agree. I agree with you.
Okay, but that's not
As long as-
it.
Why do you put the business with you? Why you like to try?
They like you.
Like
And they trust, you know, you might trust.
So, and what we talked last time at the open house about,
Getting their trust.
how do you master getting there, like, getting to like you and trust you? Well, it happens actually more in less than 10 seconds, because it's the initial. Right? That's the reason why they don't give you the right information. If they like you and they trust you, then well, then do it. And let me tell you something. I remind me to tell you a story about an update on the open house, because that's crazy, something pretty cool. It's that. It's a truck, and the reason why I'm going back to this is because generating leads is crucial to our business consistently. Okay, let me see. This is what I was looking for. Okay, somebody please read that out loud. Anybody?
The effort you give to converting leads must match the effort you give to generating them.
What does that mean?
So however hard you're working at trying to get that lead, you got to work just as hard at converting that lead.
Okay, so let's say, because the relationship we have is related to open houses, and we wanna stick to that. What are you doing during open house?
You're meeting people, you're showing them the house, you are.
Yeah.
Trying to give them all the benefits of the neighborhood, of the house in general, and probing and asking what they're. Why did you come? Kind of,
Right.
you know, what brings you here today?
Yes, so that's what happens during the open house, right? But when you do an open house, you get ready, you dress up, you show up, and you isolate yourself for a period of time at the open house. So that, I mean, some people multitask, but when you're newer, you're like on guard all the time at the open house, because you're a little nervous, and so your full attention is at generating the lead. Oh my God, what do you do with the follow? Isn't that interesting? Because an open house is a perfect example of being like blocking time, right? So the open house is a block of time when we generate that lead. Well, imagine what would happen if we actually block the time to follow up with it. So read that again.
The effort you give to converting leads must match the effort you give to generating them.
Does that make sense now? Okay, so it's super important that, look, you might have 10, and of course, let The reason why I say is because it used to happen to me. To me, you know, being busy in real estate was, oh my God, I have to put in my email, I have to do this, I have to do that. I'm gonna have to say, well, hi to everybody. You know. What was the last thing I would do? The generation calling. We put that off as long as we can. We can always find something else to do with this, and we trick our mind thinking that we're working. Yes, if you don't have an escrow, if you're not showing property, or if you don't have a listing, you have no business. So the only thing that can change that is the follow. So this is pretty cool. When I got into real estate, which is fine, now he's actually one of my very good friends, and we try to play golf at least a couple of times a month. And he told me about this, because I mean, it's a triangle, but it's a funnel. I see it as a funnel, right? So when you put stuff in the funnel, stuff goes in, right? And just circle around and go, boop, it goes out on the bottom. He gave me the whole thing with the funnel and leads. He goes, just go and generate them and throw them in the funnel. Literally, he goes, just keep throwing, always throwing in there, always throwing leads in the funnel. He goes, and the circling around is the touches that we do. It's everything else. It's the connect, the follow-ups that we do. He goes, because as the material says, you're not gonna make, no matter how good you are, you're not gonna make anybody do it what they're not ready to do, or what they cannot do. Right? So sometimes we have eternal clients. And sometimes you can convert a lead, especially from open house, you can convert a lead like the same time, the same day, you go show them a property ask for, where's the library, you can put it on. That's really sweet. Now, you can meet somebody else the same day. So won't buy into until like 2 years later. You can meet somebody else in the same open house, and that person won't buy in 5 years. If they're out there, okay, looking at property, it's because in their head, they have a dream that one day they will buy. And that's a good person to know. So everybody has their own little place and fun. All you have to do is just continue looking there and just go, just by calling them, send them emails. That's your job. Just stay there, just stay. Let them know at some pace. And guess what? Stop and start coming down. Oh, you're right. If you're being in contact with them, they're like, oh, that's my brother. I always, when I call people, I say, this is your favorite brother. So this is super important. This can happen right at the beginning. But if it's somebody we have on our phone that we have met or know for many years, then we actually have to work at it. And then from here, it goes to connect, right? And from connect to close. And it's that, just think of it that way. You just, let's say you have 200 contacts, throw them all in there. And now you're going to your job, which is, see which one's getting closer, right? And then somebody goes, you know what, I'm thinking about it, but it's gonna be 3 months, 6 months. And then we go touch another. Well, actually, you know what? We just got pre-approved. And then you get really happy. But this is really interesting. And this is where a lot of senior agents I don't mean senior in age, I mean like senior in, like, they've been doing it for a while. They screw it up. Because after you close, you throw them on a different fund. And you do the same thing. Why? If somebody just bought, you just close with them, what do? Let's go to the next one, let's go to the next one. We forget. You'd be amazed how many people forget. Okay? And the reason why they forget is because we always hunt it. But we forget that the easiest is our past clients. You just became so influential, especially if you did a good job. I got so far this month, I have 3 listings that are going to be coming out. All 3 are referral from past clients. Okay. A purchase from a past client, so we're going to be making an offer on. 4 referrals out of state from past clients. See how we always hunt. Now, 10, 15, 20 years. That's when I mean, you can start getting calls after 5, just so you know, but not as many to where it's significant. But when you're doing this for 10, 15 years, the most beautiful thing is when you see somebody that calls you and is your past client. Hello? They want to do something, or they know someone. And that's the beautiful call. Okay? But to get there, you gotta do this. And this is so this is the process on converting leads. Because like I told you before, if you're not gonna do the follow-up, please stay home with your family if they like you. I mean, please, because it doesn't do you any good to keep collecting them and not converting them. Okay? And this is what I was mentioning about that funnel. Well, that funnel will also involve, remember the tags, you've been learning about tags on the command, right? So this is how you kind of look at A, B, C, what is possible in the business, what's probable. So you have to dedicate time accordingly. Some leads are going to be just from automated emails, automated market updates, right? But your entire database should be touched at least 4 times a year. Have anybody mentioned that DTD2? What? DTD2. Sounds like it's Star right?
I'm like, are you using?
Okay,
What you think?
but then it's coming up. I get this, sometimes I can put it in the beginning, sometimes in the middle, sometimes at the end. So sometimes I kind of get lost in where it is. But DTD2 is a way to organize your database, okay? To be able to call them quarterly in a interesting alphabetical order, which is not alphabetical order, but it's using the alphabet. What it is that there was a lot of research done on what letters have the most names and what letters have the least names. And what they did is they match a letter with a lot of names with one that has little names, put them together, and you call those people that week. That way your database is balanced and you don't get A and and B that are like usually the names that have a lot of names. So 1 week you could have 500 and the next you end up with Z and then you have 5. Right? Because there's not a lot of names with Z. So you learn about that because that's another tag on my command. I have that, which you put them in order because now you can sort them by the tag, right? So I can ask, get me everything that has, I think A and W is the first one. So A and W. So all the contacts that start with the name with the A or W gets put on a list, and that's my list to call that way. You'll learn about it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay, so far, what have you learn from what we cover, because we'll get through most of the material. But what I tell you this morning, it really summarizes the entire training. Because this training equals action. No action? No result. No result? No check. No checks. Okay, so, a house. Yes,
At an open house, if they give the wrong information or don't give any information or anything like that, that's because within the first 60 seconds, that I didn't create an atmosphere for them to like and trust me.
to be honest, it's actually more like 6 seconds.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's the moment you like, little thing, you come into the door and the moment I go to you and I just say, hey, how you doing? Thank you for coming to my open house.
Sure.
If that didn't happen, it's gonna be harder to give that to her. Okay, so it's kind of like Jerry Maguire, right? You're having a hello, but yes,
If they show up at open house, you must follow up with them. And I thought about that with myself, like I said, I used to love to go to those houses. As you said, some people come in with a dream one day they're gonna own the house and everything, and they put it, I can't even think of how many times I put my name on that list that, oh wow, nobody ever called me. And it was like, maybe 10 years later, I did that. But none of those agents ever called me. And I used to go looking at open houses every week. I didn't wait for somebody to invite me. I said, open house, I go. And if I like that house, I always put my name in the information. Nobody ever called me. But it was 5 to 8 years later when I had to be bought a house. None of those agents were the ones that sold to me. And I learned about that. So that is true. If you don't, they need to check the sense, no, and I always put the correct number down. It's just something I do, so I always take that in my mind, give people the right information. But I always put down that nobody's fault.
no. It's that, because, and that's why I say, if you're not gonna really follow,
Then why are you doing this?
you know why? Because it makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you're doing so. You can go ahead and tell your spouse, your friends, oh, I'm working, I'm doing this. I'm gonna open house. That doesn't make any money. Just make it correct. Funny numbers. But I mean, so that's how we can do this. And I mean, unfortunately, I have a big mouth and I we have agents that come here. They come. They sit around a little bit, they're open their computer, now they're looking for somebody to go to lunch with. You go to lunch for 2 hours, they come back. One of the kids calls, something happens, they're like, oh my God. I'm done. I can't work today. And if anything I want to take on is to reduce that rate of attrition. 94%. Yeah, I was actually really, because I saw that number, that it's actually 87% in the last few years. The new numbers actually show an improvement. Why? Because people who actually will get the license because they either were buying themselves or selling, or they had a friend that was thinking of buying and selling, they will actually do that. And so anything that you put on the market also would just sell quicker. It was easier. You guys are coming in, and I'm trying to scare you. Okay, you're coming in at an interesting time. The market is I mean, if real estate is challenging right now. But you know, like I have weekly meetings with my team. And sometimes they're like, I have to pick them up from the ground. This is taking a lot more activity. Have you guys ever read 10X, the book? 10X we're going. Not really one of my favorite people, actors, but, authors, but, talks about the 10X rule. So, and I was just having dinner last night and they tell me, oh, so that's real estate. I said, no, it's you know, that's real estate. You offer today, I had 2 listing appointments today, and I'm still teaching a class. So like, we go, really? Yeah, well, we should have to do more. We actually have to work a little harder. The 10X principle is that if before we did 10 calls and got something, now we might have to time that times 10 and make 100 calls and get one. So if you're not happy with the results, increase the activity. If you're still failing, check your skills. Because numbers are numbers, right? Unfortunately, when they tell you, well, if you cold call, you have a 2 to 4% rate. That's pretty good. Imagine if you're just learning, imagine if you're not practicing, or if you're not doing your scripts, where do you think that rate goes?
Yeah.
And guess what we do? Because that's another thing, right, where people do not like script practice. It's like, I personally don't like scripts, but I have internalized every script I can. Just because I can pull from here, I can pull from there. It's almost like right? Anything that comes at me, I don't go verbatim. But I have the information I need to tap into when I need it. So do it with that purpose. To me, I had to do 4 videos for different things. And my assistant gave me the script. So literally, all you have to do is just you get the idea what the script said. And if you have the ability to run your mouth, you can do your own thing. If you don't, even if you follow verbatim, you get results. One of my agents, Richard, you might know, he was having a hard time. It's just the phone wasn't his thing. He would try to do just about anything else, but and when they would pick up, I could see it in his face that he would be diving and like, they don't answer. I like people do that. They actually put a critical, they don't answer. Especially if you're talking from above. It's like, so I'm like, okay. I told him, I said, well, I mean, you only have one job. And that is to make a call. I said, what are we gonna do? So we got into script practicing. 2 weeks later, okay, it's a beast. He is in the middle of an escrow now. We have 3 listings that we're working on. And now he just comes in and just like wants to die. And all I did is give him 1 script. And he has used it over and over. And it works. See. And now the other 2, I'm like, just like, it's something, it's weird, something because I bring him in or rotate him in my office, so I can listen and also critique and also I make little tweaks. And the others are like, literally, somebody's on the phone and everybody just stops and is like, just look at him because something they don't get, something when you're nervous, you're gonna say the right thing. But he gets the appointment. It doesn't work. That's what he has me, right? It's like I go to the buyer appointment, I go to the listing appointment, I negotiate. I mean, this. But anyway, it's okay. How to convert a lead and get an appointment. So that means that we actually now making the call. Let's the material says that we should spend 10 minutes. Okay, And I want you guys to get in groups of 4. 4 or 3, actually, let's do 2 groups, group of 5. And I want you to discuss. When somebody calls you, let's say you went to an open house, okay? And you actually gave your information. What do you want the call, how do you want that call to go? I want it to be discussed among each other and then volunteer somebody in each group to tell me what you guys came up with.
This is from the point of view of the agent.
From the point of view of the
Of
client,
the client, okay.
okay? What would make you take the call? And what would make you continue the conversations that you had? Let's say open house, since that's what we can relate to.
Friendly.
Knowledgeable.
Yeah, but it was good.
For me, I think.
Anyway, yes.
It's specific to the clients.
Well, obviously, if you're independent of client or right, you're there for a So what are the things, like, we're usually, I mean, besides nosy neighbors that come in and open houses with our books, right? They are there because they're looking to buy, right? So what value do we bring them in a phone call that they would want to call us or pick up our call?
Right.
And like, let them follow up with us again, right?
That.
That's what we need to think about. So I mean, we're calling the client, they wanna know, okay, what do you got for me then, right? Like, why are we gonna like stay in contact with you? Right, for me, I think would be knowledge on the neighborhood, right? Knowledge on the market. They like, we got our little crash course in that yesterday with Bob,
Yeah.
right? The market, and just like knowledge of the area and then asking them. Yeah, like what are their goals, what is their why, like, you know, what are, you know, cause sometimes it's just, it's more, it's more of an emotional transaction. One person still than it is business, you know? But how are we gonna do it? Joe Mo down the street. What?
He's right behind us. We can ask him.
It's dropping. Are we supposed to just like come up with, like our plan of how
What
to
do you
get,
want to hear, and then we're gonna actually go into
what at the time do we want to hear from the agent?
10 seconds or less, why are you calling, what value?
Did anyone on our bill, y'all know it's successful far?
If I was a client, I would want to hear. Like.
Yeah, it's like, okay, nothing.
The agent, what it is specifically that I'm looking for, like, why they're not trying to. Oh,
The why is in the knowledge of the area,
yeah,
like,
so,
asking you what.
like specifically, what eyes, with someone else. Is in a way, like, is in the way that they can help me with that sort of thing.
I'll give you a little insight. Look at it from different levels. Look at it from, you're maybe 5 years away, you might be 2 years away, you might be next month.
That's why I said ask them their why, like, we need to know, like, why, like, where they're at in this. process.
Where are you?
Yeah, very.
So when you think of that higher things, think from not just ready to go.
Yeah, cause like I think everybody from like people that are literally, they don't even have names, they're just. If people that really want to buy a house, that's always have to. They were building on it, checking it all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they're ready, they're
Right.
financially
They're just-
ready, they're.
some are just
They just wanna be, but they also like.
Like, go legitimately like, one of these days.
And I bet these people are in the open house and they like just like to have your knowledge and then maybe even like pointing them in the direction so that they have a goal.
That's-
We're not just here to sell them tomorrow.
Yeah.
We want to feel. But like he said, like you can get somebody like 5 years down the road and they're ready and you're gonna be their agent.
Yeah.
And you stay in contact with them for that whole 5 years. You know, so.
So if you read further down, it's got like 6 connection questions, you use 12 there. So it's asking like, you know, who are they? What do they want me to do?
Yeah.
Where do they need, where they want or need to do it? Why do they want or need to do it? When do they want to do it? Yeah, I'm not, how do they plan to do it? And then one guy.
Working hard at it, all times. Being able to, based on where.
And how can they help I achieve that goal? Yeah, with the three, you know, being hopeful, being honest.
Follow up
So the
from the open
questions.
and go ahead and take it from the mentioning them. Take it from different.
Bob was seeking.
Right?
You very.
Have fun, show.
I was today and yesterday, when we were singing by the end of the class. I was singing.
When are you gonna buy? So.
Just for times, although I did think if I know for your class, but I think.
Think about-
No, it's-
I work it.
How was it doing on?
I'm counting. So first starting with Monday.
They from like, I don't have anything to say. Yeah, we're just Pokemon. But I noticed that like the other day I did one slip, just one, and then like maybe some days on mine. I always look at the views, right? I don't know, maybe in the 50s. Yesterday I did like probably 4 or 5 stories in a row. And they were like 100 people yesterday. Yeah, so if you're not actively posting stuff, then nobody's gonna see it. Yeah. So that when you're not. Yeah, it really did. But it was when I had a really kind of.
Really same fault.
Yeah. Now it's like, okay, well, maybe we need to just be.
Or you have a business, is it on Facebook or Instagram?
My Instagram, yeah.
We're getting off track.
Yeah. Well, I think
What do you think from here?
We're gonna talk about. Talking about, we're still on.
Let's go back to getting a call from a neighbor. Okay. Wherever you are in the house. There's so many getting some things that they truly. Right? So they make the same call. That's why.
Or they don't call at all.
Right.
Which is
ridiculous, because.
Oh, and it's one thing to get like go to voicemail. I've done that. Like I followed up on open house for like days later because I could never get anybody on the phone and I left a message and you don't want to leave like 50 voicemails. But also are like, okay, I get the hint, you know, at a certain point, but. You know, these try. What?
I mean,
And what we want to eat.
you're gonna learn as the more. The more you're gonna learn, the more you're gonna learn how to. The better response you're gonna get, your percentage of it are gonna go higher. If you just do it enough, you're gonna. Almost there. Are we?
Save the nuggets, save the nuggets.
But, it's kind of like the older, retired guy.
A great area. I was like, he wants to buy a house for his daughters.
He used to be like.
Oh, I think it's better.
But, no, this is what I did.
When I was like,
That was, well, he was like,
What's going on? Somebody else, yeah, you guys threw out.
Awesome.
And I'm like trying to figure out
Now what do we do?
what's like, food, so. None of us.
So, go ahead and select, go ahead and select who's gonna summarize, what you guys threw up in here. Okay, and from that, we're gonna do a script.
Cool.
Keep it easy, I'll keep it easy. No problem. I was kidding.
Yeah, you guys get your.
Oh.
All in favor, say aye.
I agree. Needed. I'm gonna have to do this. Oh, I have to do the script right now too, or is that later? Play a good one.
Select who's gonna be the,
They already did.
Yeah, we voted, some votes.
and we're ready?
And what kind of time?
I'm gonna plan it. You know. I think for my first.
What else? So anyway, let's go ahead and continue. Right after this, we're gonna do a little break. It's already an hour. We're gonna do a little break, and when we come back, we're gonna do a role play with each group, okay? So let's start back there. What did you guys came up with, or what, how would you like that call to go, taking into consideration what I said, the different. In the beginning, I didn't tell you about the different levels. Because he always has, everybody speaking one way and one level that is there already to buy it. If that was the case, I would go over house 7 days a week. So, go ahead, Kelly.
So we took the approach of, finding out the needs. So Suzette was a never buy. I was a today buy. Leanna was a 6 months.
No.
Okay, and then.
Yeah, they really did.
And I'm sorry. Pam was a 2-year buyer. I'm still in the 2. Oh, Pam, what were you then?
I said 2, but 5.
Oh, 5 years. So with our never buyer, we're gonna give the value proposition all the time when we're talking to them. Hey, I have a window. Would you be interested in it? Just to keep her in our database and keep top of mind versus that. So that she knows, oh, Brian is a realtor, and he, send me with them.
Yes, we see it. So she wanted the call to go to us,
Like you bring stores.
what do you bring?
Right. Yeah, because Suzette does not want me to sell her house. She's gonna hang up and do not call and.
Oh, I don't. How many were you gonna tell her?
No, it's not a spirit. I don't want that. My thing is, if I need someone to open house and then I sign, I'm one person at home and they call me. And the first thing they say is, hey, Suzanne, thank you so much for my open house. I'm glad I met you. I know you're interested in home, but I have other things that I can offer you. How about, that would, I would not hang the phone up and I would then just make a conversation. That would keep me engaged.
Okay, let's move on here.
Oh, returning on first. So we didn't necessarily break everybody down in those categories, but like we were just kind of doing it in general. Obviously, what they did was where every buyer is at. We don't know where every person is at. Some people are just fresh off the, off the boat. They know they want to buy a house. They don't even have, any plan. There's some that are ready now. There's some that actually want to buy in that neighborhood. So that's what we need to do is establish the reason why they were at the open house. Are they looking? Are they, do they how long have they been looking? You know, also, besides finding out their why, you know, also letting them know what value we bring to that, you know, like how we can help them achieve making whatever it is that they're trying to do happen. So,
You know, one thing that never really gets thrown in when we do this is that everybody forgets the nosy neighbor.
but they're always those neighbors, the majority.
There's always gonna be
At least I never take down their, well, not never, it just depends, sometimes if they're just saying they're there to be nosy and look at things, and I don't take down their info.
I would say my suggestion would be, please give their DNA
Yeah.
if necessary.
Really?
Get everything. You know what nosy neighbors are?
They have the whole quotes on the neighbors.
They know everybody in the.
You haven't doing that wrong.
We have that.
Yeah, nosy neighbors can be a really, if you manage them,
Very.
if you manage them right, and you establish a relationship with them, they can be a very nice referral source. The little neighbor is finding.
That's true.
Right, so I mean, remember, you're building a database, right? And you don't know when, I always say, you know, the only thing I use, you know, the old way when you do popcorn, right? You just throw it in a pan, and all the time you keep moving it, and then, boop, boop, and then
And then the wind will pop up.
that's what the difference is. But nosy neighbors are great.
Yeah.
They are.
They're the chattiest
You got
too.
Do you ever go?
Right.
go
So-
and go- and go by your difference?
Yeah, we
That's where I was.
you know,
Oh, okay.
can we stay with it? So the idea of the nosy neighbor is that, there's some nosy neighbors that I actually do a drive-by. Meaning that I always go and, drop them a little something, oh, I got a new set of pants, or I got a, you know, just anything, because they get excited about all that. And they're ready to tell you about the neighborhood. Is that good intel?
Very good.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, there's times that you probably don't want, you want them to tell you, but you probably don't want them to be the one introducing you to it.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So this business about people, this business about knowing people. Okay, there's a lot of people can confuse what I just said with manipulation. A lot of people can confuse being able to read people as manipulation. It's not. It's not. It's really how you do it. Okay, but I have some, you know, neighbors that I've never wanted to be introduced by them to the neighborhood because they're known as that.
No affiliation.
They are a good source for that. I'll give you a quick update because this is the update that I was gonna tell you in an open house. I did an open house about 6 weeks ago. It's funny, because I was gonna take the day off, I had been working literally 7 days for like 2 months, and I haven't quite taken a day off. During November and December is when my team works the most, and this one we put the most time. When everybody else is, they ate too much for Thanksgiving, and from then they went into a coma the rest of the year. The reason why I do that is because at the beginning of the year, things are happening. But if you think anything from besides this part, take that. Don't do what everyone, look, at least 70% of realtors, they go into, I don't know, hibernation, that's where I'm looking for. Hibernation, during the holidays. We have cold nights and night here, we have, I mean, it's just do it. Okay, but this is what happened with this lead. I was gonna take a day off and Richard made some phone calls and he was looking for an open house. He ends up with 2. And he goes, I have a problem. He goes, I have 2 open houses and I kind of already say yes to one of them. He goes, who should I give it to? Okay, I'll do it. Because I was planning to actually take the day off. I said, I'll do it. Okay, great. You know, or my assistant said, make me a flyer or whatever. I go, met like 8 people. 6 out of those were actually good. And there was this gentleman and, it was like 6'3" at least, big guy. The girlfriend was like probably 4'8". And but they were just like, I mean, it was just so amazing. They were like, you could tell that they were like in love with it. So I'm telling them about the house, I'm telling them about what they can do with that house, the house. I needed to talk about it, I needed to look better. And it was just, they had done some, they had put flooring, but the rest looked like really bad. And then, I'm telling them about like, they take down this wall, they turn the kitchen around, they put an island. And then the guy said, you know what, that's exactly what I was thinking. And we just literally connected really well. And he's telling me about his, he's looking to buy here. But for a little moment there, it kind of switched kind of weird, and I thought he was trying to impress the girlfriend. Because he lives in Colorado. He has a 4,000 square feet home on 3 acres in Colorado. It's worth about 300,000. So he's telling me about how like this is a big home, so he can't believe that this is 1.2. And it's like, so I asked him, I give him the tour, and coming down the stairs, I go, why don't you please sign in? So he signs in, he gives me his address in Colorado, gives me the phone number and everything. Monday, I call him, left him a message. I did a second follow-up later on I think Wednesday, I called him again. He answered, but he was like, he was in the middle of something, he was busy, he goes, oh, I can't talk right now, I'm not. So he goes into that, I was discouraged, okay? I'm telling you this because I made a mistake. I didn't follow up with them from there.
You did not?
I did not.
Oh, wow.
Internet.
I know. Tuesday, after our call back with my team, we went to grab a bite to eat. And I'm getting out of the car and it's the phone ring. No, he's in town. And he tells me, do you know, oh, this is Alan, you remember me, we met at the open house, and I'm like, yeah. But he goes, yeah, I was with my girlfriend, and she just in Redonda, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember, are you here in Colorado? Right, he goes, I'm actually down here visiting her, and we are ready. We're gonna buy 1.1. Okay, but we need a couple other things. Because my girlfriend's dad passed away in Tampa, and we need to sell his house. You know somebody over there.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. I'll have somebody by tomorrow. Well, because we're consolidating and my girlfriend is moving in with me when we buy here, we need to sell her property in Redondo.
Oh, wow.
Can you tell us how much it can be sold for, how much it can rent for? No problem. I can do an analysis, which of those things for you. And because I'm buying over there, I need a realtor to sell my house in Colorado.
That's a 4-way drive.
And I charge 30.
Richard, not, he didn't take that, do you? Is that right here?
No, it's standard, it's 2025,
Okay.
I charge 30.
Mhm.
Because by the time they do it, well, I connect my client with them, I go a little beyond, right?
Are these people you personally vetted, agents, and all these other?
Yes. Through command, okay, connect, you can actually look at people's production, how many transactions are done, and also, I like to look for profiles that have a bio, I would like to look for the professional, and then I send them a text. Then I give them a call. Depending on how quick they respond to my text, and depending how how they call me back or answer the phone, and how they carry themselves to my conversation. That's how I actually take it into consideration. So, and I told them, I said. They usually ask, oh, so, how much you want for the referral? I said, no, I said, I took 30%. Most of the time they say, okay.
Wouldn't say okay to that, yeah.
Oh, no, I get emails from, actually, the first thing I did, I went to my email. Really, I get emails saying, we need to pay 35, we need to pay 40%.
Oh.
But I didn't have it. So. But I still keep it integrity, I still.
Don't forget about Denver, Tampa, Denver, you need to sell that one too.
But I still look or interview the ones that send stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that's sounds a little desperate, but I'm just giving for one, an example of the potential.
Yeah.
And how easily I could have messed because
Mhm.
if they were not calling,
You can even call you.
yeah, and the guy was really nice, he goes, Aaron, he goes, I gotta tell you, he goes, I've been with a lot of, I sold and bought a lot of property, that's in my life, and so I know my stuff. Okay, so it's not gonna be easy. But when we met you with my girlfriend, I told her that you were gonna be my brother.
Mhm. Mhm.
So. And that's right there validates what I teach. And him and other people have actually, how many people are, I get to call. That's sweet. Okay, but we have to be like, on. So lead generation, okay, let's go on a break, I know it went on, and when we come back, we're gonna do the call script, okay?
Can I share, I'm making the average here after you guys meet, so that I have over here. Playing the live game and yesterday, and he has 8 offers right now. Wow.
Tell you, when are you gonna reopen?
I'm meeting with my client today, because we're going to increase packing, so today and Monday we're meeting, tomorrow I'll save pictures, so. We're meeting today, I've already emailed him saying, look, we have most of the people already. In mind, so I've had some agents asking to show it, it's coming soon. We're showing it starting first, because that's when my deadline is paid, the first of the year, put away. And we can show that house. Open house maybe next week.
What
And he's
city?
on board with that.
Yeah, so it goes to validate, but we talked a little bit about that and, you listed it as a right of house.
Or by 25.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I said by 25, but the low when we talked was 40 something would be
Yeah,
like, yeah.
you should be able to drive that property to 6 something. And you're gonna end up with at least 20, 30 months. Because of the. And that's what I'm talking about, when I did my business on a weekend event. One, I don't show the program. And then I took it down. The listing that I just took last Sunday in Bellflower, I took the listing at 7. I'm putting it on the market. Right now it's for 448, but it's gonna take 2 weeks to get it ready for the stuff up. So it might even go down to 628 for my marketing purposes. We do exactly what it did.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Brian, since your birthday's name?
Yes. It was very blessed to get it, it's my neighbors. It's amazing.
So this is a labor you.
Yes. Yeah. So it's been. Struggling to get him ready, he just has to get ready to do everything Right, he's on his own right now, so I go over there whenever he needs to do the big things. So, but I have the little things, it's, he's older, like he's 80s now, I think. No, I think he just turned 80. He's rather. Yeah, he's ready to get out of here.
I didn't make me feel like someone else. To the virus, I can't do that, right? He said, okay, you know what? I was ever part of this.
Yeah.
So you have
I know that 3 of the people are actually agents. So.
age went by the process.
Yeah, 2 of them are flippers. 3 actually are customer agents, or for sure agents. Yes. Actually, yeah, all the 2 agents. Well, yeah, no, that's fine, I just, yeah, the rest of the agents.
Yeah.
It's easy. You have 88 years. And else.
I got a little bit of
I did my first real today. Jay, I'm gonna take prison real, okay? I don't know. Yeah.
I love the way you're there. Oh, and he's my long hair. So you're so funny. I've been all late. I've been here, like, I just, I'm a long hair too. And then I'll change it. Thank you. I wish it was as big as it used to be when I was Scarlet. Or I'm Scarlet. I have my niece in my head right now. Scarlet days. But yeah, no. At least it's still grows. I just want it to be thicker. Well, I honestly looked at that blueberry thing, and then I looked at the back, and I'm just really weird about like oils and I don't like to feed oils and all that, but just everything's legal with all it. But I'm gonna bring fruit in, and I need to go to the store and get more fruit.
Yeah.
Good, Fred.
Well, you know what I started doing? I started meal testing again, like small, and I do overnight at home. So I was on a producer's camp every Friday. They have a really good producer's camp. So that's when I was eating. So I make sure, because otherwise I'm running out the door with nothing to eat, and then I'm like, oh, then I really am gonna snack. On
I didn't
food
know
that I
that.
don't want. So yeah, just try to eat early. It's not always easy.
Flippers are both fire.
Yeah.
When they're done, they open.
Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, what's their ingredients?
I have one for like skincare and like beauty products. It's called Think Dirty.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's one.
Oh, really? I mean, honestly, pretty much anything that's like snacking, but it's all, you know what I mean? It's hard to like, because even like say a protein bar or
You
something,
know what?
I even stop eating those. I'm like, okay, basically what's left, vegetables and fruit. The other day I was eating.
I'm not really.
Celery with
What it
hummus.
says.
My diet. That's why I eat in the morning, and then I'll try to eat fruit, and then. Like, hold me over till I get home, you know?
Oh, he goes in there.
Yeah, I like that one too.
You want to-
Yes, I'll check it out.
So.
I feel like recommendations.
And he
Really
did
just
this,
scan
uh,
something at the bottom. It'll say, oh, that's it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Trust me,
Yeah,
it
it's
was,
so over there and.
Right?
Oh,
I
wow.
used to go back there and eat a little tronic right now, but I left like pretty much.
Just a question.
Sweet shit, yeah.
This is the point I did,
Yeah, I was like,
was that other help? Like, hey, let me look at it.
that's the problem.
Oh, see, I used to be all about that too, then I noticed started looking more like even at Trader Joe's nuts. And in the oil that they make them in, and I'm like.
Sorry.
I've seen someone, like, it's like the age, like, people are getting like, well, this is going to Wall Street.
I took thought this now.
I don't know, there's just a Latino influencer, he's like
And then
he used to do a lot of videos with his son. They're called the Inky Boys, I don't know if you've heard of them, but they were really cute, his son's super adorable. I think he's even like acting now, like with George Lopez on some show, but they became popular because of all their TikToks and all the stuff that they did together as a father-son duo. And he got diagnosed with colon cancer at the age of 30, like, I don't know, he just died, 35 years old. And his, I mean, he is, oh my God, it's just like, it was so heartbreaking when I saw that he happened and that he was going through his battle. I mean, but he just shriveled, like from the moment that he announced that he had it, and I was like, it didn't seem that it was very lost from the moment he made it public. So it's scary, it's so scary.
In that sense, I, you know.
People are like positioning to have like.
This number, it actually should be a little more.
You know, the test, for they test.
Early detection, I agree, yeah.
There.
Well, that's what we've always been told about, like, that we don't get for even breast cancer, all of that, like, until we hit like 40, I'm like, what the hell, I have friends that's gotten it like at 35. My girlfriend just fought breast cancer and she's older than me though, she's
It's
years
not
older than me, so she's like, in the 40s, but like,
It does.
wow.
Excuse. Really hasn't done much to the house.
And we'll know, we'll look at it too over the years, how come well, this wasn't prevalent years ago? What is the difference between then and now? What are they eating versus what we're eating?
This is all from.
We're eating a lot more shit, because that's what they make, and they make it accessible and cheap, you know, and people. A lot of people don't have money to eat everything organic, you know, I'm single and I do, and it's cheap,
Basically, it's general.
so.
From the class.
Yeah, cause I'm trying to eat.
My stuff world, girl.
Yeah, we did that.
But.
Oh, God. So expensive. I go to my local route, but most of my fruit and vegetables, berries, everything, all organic. That's where I take the hit. And then I try to, you know, fit meals that, you know, are easy and not as, you know. Yeah, well, food, stuff. I only go to like once a month, but I can't.
They have a different, you know,
That's-
that's.
Trader Joe's is good, it's a good in between.
Ours down here is a CR.
Yeah. But yours is, your guys is. She went on a mine for the first time in the last year. She said, I don't like this.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get back. So. The lead generation. How we generate the lead is super important, as you can, in that example that I just gave. How we follow up. Has to have the same, right? So remember, if we put the same, the effort should be the same. How we focus on getting the lead, and we should be doing the same thing on focusing on following up. We can do one better than the other. Okay, and for those, it takes skill. If we're not public speakers, if we're not out with the public, or we haven't done sales before, we tend to not have a lot of that skill set. If we're not sociable and we're a little timid. By the way, how many of you went to TonyRobbins.com and did the DISC assessment?
Bob told us to do that yesterday, but I didn't do it yet.
I haven't finished it.
I'll do it.
So I'm gonna ask the question again. Are you having door issues?
I am.
Did you do the disc assessment at the site that I did during the open house training?
Yeah, I did it like a few months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, good. That is helpful because it tells the personality of the people. And when you, so the reason why you do it is not to find out what you are. The reason why you do it, because you already know what you are. You know you're either an introvert or you like out there. So you do it to actually learn about the other personality. Because when you learn about the other personalities, it's very extremely super helpful to connect and to actually get the lead. It's also extremely helpful when you're doing the follow-up. Right? And when we do the follow-up, we're gonna do it their way. Because you don't, I mean, I'm not saying, you know, you don't matter. But in the conversation, there's nothing about you. You're not doing the follow-up and telling them that you are the best realtor in the area. They don't want to hear that. So how do you go about connecting is simply at the time of you meeting them, you should be able to, I don't want to sound wrong, that's almost labeling them. You label a B, an I, an S, or a C, based on the personality. And if you have that, when you make the call, now you get to adjust your call depending on their personality. Because remember, otherwise you're gonna make the same call to everybody. And you don't connect the same way with everybody. So when you meet the person, to me, I think actually, and the reason why I always stand or sit or lean, or whatever I'm doing at the open house, waiting for people to come in. I'm watching them even before they walk into the sidewalk of the house. And the reason why is because the way they walk, their body posture, if they have somebody else with them, the way they address each other. So I'm looking for temperature in the sense of, ooh, are they mad at each other? Because you can tell. Oh, by the way they get out of their car. Now, if they're parked in front and he goes around, opens the door for them, like he should do, he opens the door for her, helps her out.
Does it still want things?
Once in my life. He hasn't trained, no, I say the best. And it should be that way, and you should hold the door for anybody. I mean, a lot of people do it for older people. But, you know, somebody else would be coming behind, you guys are doing it for each other. I think you don't need to hold the door for anyone. It's just courtesy. So what I'm saying is, by the time they get to me, I kind of know how I'm gonna do it. Right? Because you think that if they're like, if they look the business guys will find the car and they got out, they're like, they're what? So if they're walking towards their car, okay? And they're like, you know, they're holding hands so you can see, right? But it's like when you go to a restaurant, have you ever gone to a restaurant? I don't know if people watch. But when you go to a restaurant and there's a couple sitting there and they're looking at each other, the ones are actually got like with the face down and they're not looking at them, talking. It's not. Right? The first, second date. Oh, they just got married, they came back from the honeymoon. Because the majority of people are like, I mean, I don't know where sure, but I like sitting on the same, like, I like sitting on the same side. It's my way. And always looking at the door. The reason why, because I like people watching, also making sure that nothing crazy is gonna happen in that place. I'm always on guard. Mhm. He comes from going through 9 bank robberies and 2 takeovers.
Oh, you were.
Oh.
Yeah. So it comes from where like, oh yeah.
Trauma.
Oh, man.
It's also, I went through a 90-day training with Florence PD on assessing situation. And like, literally, like, last night, I was walking one of my friends to her car, because we were actually just moving to Colombia. So from this bank, actually, the people from this bank, we were out to dinner. It's going to be a diplomat in her husband. She's going on. And I'm like, and all of a sudden, these 2 people are just like, fighting. And I'm like, okay, I said, so just stand back. Next thing you know, a phone is flying like in the middle of the street. You guys are really drunk and so I'm very protective. And but it's always good because I mean, and I think that's how I've always been. But in the past, with the bank robberies, they always teach you to be. You always have to be watching what's going on in the life. So it's after the 9, 10, 12 robberies, it just it just you automatically do. But what I was saying about that is that by the time we had to cross the street that way, but by the time I got there, I had already figured out how to take the 2 drunks down in a few different ways. I was not going to wait until they were going to come at me, right? It's just the way my brain works. But the point is that when people watch, we learn so much. Like I used to go to Century City, the mall. You know how like on top and you just look down. I just know how incredible we're created and how individual we are. And how that's why my dream was always to have fame. Because I'm fascinated. Because I don't care how many, I mean, well, you go to a game, right? And you see 50, 60,000 people. And nobody like you. Don't have a name. So, I think anyway, and so I'm always fascinated by that. Okay, I always lose track, so I apologize. Role play. So I need a volunteer. What we're going to do is 100% scenario. You came to my open house, okay? We talked. You had whoever's going to volunteer. You have your kid. You have your dog. Okay, and you came in to see the house. Okay, and we probably you share some information with me, and I'm just going to use that to do the follow. Okay, so I need a volunteer.
They have a kid and a dog.
Yeah.
We have 9 of those, so you can volunteer.
Well, I get to pick the volunteer. Okay, so we are here and you're the volunteer.
I'm a volunteer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where am I going?
So now I am calling, okay, to follow up on Monday after the program is open. Your name? Jennifer. Yes. Okay, Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hi Jennifer, this is Aaron Alcides. Remember we met at the open house on Voorhees in Redondo Beach. How are you?
Oh, hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, I told you I was gonna call you, didn't I?
You sure did.
Well, I'm just trying to keep my word. Hey, by the way, how's it going?
Good. Wow, you remember.
I even remember your dog's name.
Aw.
They were so cute. By the way, you don't know how much I appreciate you coming to the open house. You make those 4 hours that I'm there go by a lot faster. Let me tell you, there is nothing worse when nobody shows up, because those open, that can be really long.
Mm.
So I really appreciate when people come, and I make it a point of following up. Let me ask you. I know we talked a little bit about you just getting started, but how long, how long do you think it's gonna take for you to buy a home?
I really wanna buy soon, maybe within the next year, I just wanna make sure it's right for me.
Perfect. Well, I start working with people sometimes that are looking to buy 6 months, a year, and the best thing is to prepare for it. Have you had a conversation with a lender yet?
No, I haven't.
Wonderful. Well, I'm gonna suggest for you to do that just ahead of time, because sometimes there's something in your credit report, there's things that you need to do that a lender can put you in the right path. So a year from now, when you're ready, you're not gonna start again, because then it might take you 6 months more, right?
Right.
And you might lose an opportunity. You don't wanna do that.
Okay.
Well, why don't we do that? Do you have somebody, or would you like me to recommend some?
If you could recommend someone.
Awesome. By the way, sorry, I lost my train of thought on that. I was gonna go back to the family, and the reason why I was gonna go back to that is because you want to touch a little bit of a business, but that's not gonna build the report we need. She seemed a lot happier when I was talking, I could see it, when I was talking about her family and not about the real estate. If she would have shown that, because you can tell the phone, you know how to look at the person. You should have shown that at the end when I was talking a little too much about the financing stuff. I would have sensed that. I would stop right there. Do you know how many calls you have to make to convert lead?
8.
Well,
Oh.
it used to be 8.
Oh, no, that's good.
It used to be 8.
yesterday.
Yesterday was late.
Yesterday was 8.
Said.
Oh, we need to update Bob. Bob is calling. So this is what happened, and this is not 12 calls that they did not answer. These are conversations.
Wow. Wow.
No, that's the average, by the way. The average is, that you could have it on 1, you can have it 2, you can have it on 24 calls. So, but the latest numbers are 12 calls. 12 calls. I took the information she had given me, right? Or the information that I found to connect with her in the follow-up. If I would have done this call and I say, hey Jennifer, this is Aaron Alcides, we met at the open house, how are you?
Good.
Hey, I know you say you're looking to buy, right?
Yes.
Are you ready to buy now?
If I find the right property.
Oh, great. Well, I have a lender that I can refer you to. Have you talked to a lender?
No, the phone would be great.
Oh, okay. Well, I can get you a lender. Can you come into the office and we can meet, so maybe we can show you properties next week?
Sure.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I'm available Saturday afternoon. Does that work for you?
Sure, around 1.
So you accomplished the same, so you accomplished the coming, right? Did you have any connection with me?
No.
If she finds like a nice realtor that talks to her and that you can connect with, do you think she would cheat on me?
Yeah.
Very easy. Very easy. It's a relationship. So the more you connect with people, like the dog, the name of and you know what you do is, the moment you turn around,
Yes.
you start writing all those notes. Okay, because you want to be able to recall them. When you enter the contact on the system, you write all those notes. Okay, because even if you cannot connect, okay, I could make 5 calls to her and never be able to talk to her. Right, so that might take what, a month? who knows how many open houses that she's gone in between? You think she's gonna remember who Aaron Alcides is? Most likely not. But when I go and say, how's Joni, how's, how's Petey, how's it, by the way, it was great, remember I said I was gonna call you, I was the guy, I mean. I refer the memory. So the call, when you connect the first time, it's very different than when you connect 5 calls later, or it depends on how much it is. On my notes, on the system, I put met at the street, or the name, or the address, okay? And start putting the, she's looking to buy, she's looking to sell. She, she has 2 kids. Joey was with her, Edie was with her. And if I know the race of the dog, I will put what kind of dog it was, the brand of the dog. Because that's just your ammunition to refresh your memory of the connection that you have. Okay, because remember, that interaction is only relevant to you. Unless you make it to where you create this impression on her, that the moment you call her and you say, yeah, I'm Aaron, we met at the open house. Yes, Aaron. Why? Because if she went to 5 open houses, you better be the one that you remember. If she, because there's different properties, different things. So you always do or become that memorable interaction. Okay, so really important. So if it's just very impersonal. So until you build the relationship where they first like it, then they extend the trust. If I were to tell her, if I would have told her, by the way, Jennifer, I either myself or my assistant, it doesn't matter if you say the same things. Consistency is what's important. Either myself or my assistant, it's always me. Okay, but I didn't want to make it sound like, oh, I'm gonna be on her. I say either myself or my assistant will call you, okay, to say thank you for coming. The reason why I say that is because I don't want it to be a surprise. Or for you to say, right, you don't have to give your information, you don't want anybody bothering you, anybody calling you, anybody, all that. I'm not bothering her, I'm just wanting to appreciate it and find out a little more. So that's key, and that's how you follow up. Okay. It's amazing how fast time is going, so we'll continue. This is so important. Know the outcome. Okay, what's the outcome of the call? Oh my God, let me die. I hope she doesn't pick up.
That's me.
Well, there's reasons why I say it. I mean, it's when you make calls, or when you have your leads, when you have an appointment, our mind plays tricks, and we always look at the worst case scenario. Oh my God, you're gonna reject me. Oh my God, you're gonna yell at me. I mean, I have had some people say some crazy stuff. Okay? To me and to my team. And what do you do? Next.
Yeah.
That would be really easy. No, it goes in your head. I literally had to, after a conversation one of my team members had, it was effective for a week. But then how nasty it was. So the next time you dial, you always like, it's not gonna be the one, right? We just, like, that's how our brain works. We don't like pain. We literally run. We like pleasure. And that was not pleasant. So, the calls, that you just keep making them calls, knowing the outcome has to do with, instead of, I truly believe in the create stuff. Okay, I truly believe that we can manifest things in our mind, with our mind. Energy is really important. Have you ever walked into a room where people have just been fighting? And you walk in, you're like, holy cow.
Mm.
Everybody's like, but you walk into a different room and everybody's smiling and everything, and you automatically go to, ah. Well, same thing happens over the phone. That's why, whenever you're ready to make your calls, and you have blocked your time, make yourself only 5 to 10 minutes before that. And get in the right space. Whatever that's for you. Some people pray, some people meditation, some people should music. Whatever works for you. Turn it on. Because a song that just gets you, you know, get that energy going. Play that song. Because how you feeling is what's gonna project your voice on the phone. And or if you go, remember I said, if you go to an appointment, a listing appointment, get there, 5 to 10 minutes. I know it's hard, especially when we're busy. Then it's hard, but if you don't park and just get into that space, you're gonna be jumping out of the car because you're about to hit 12 or the time that the appointment is. You're gonna be ready and literally very having your breath. Hi, I'm Aaron. And it's not like you run there. So that's what you're gonna transfer to who you're meeting with. So just stay in your space and don't let anyone disrupt it. Block the time. Now, that's what I like in the office because there's not a lot going on. But before I used to have a sign. Put it on my door, close the door, says, do not interrupt lead generating. Guard it. Oh, by the way, if Jennifer answers that she thinks she's gonna buy, my suggestion is turn off the notification from social media. If you don't use cell phone, throw the apps on the third or fourth page of all the apps that you have. Don't have it in the front. Okay, because you're going to find just about any reason not to dial the next number. You're gonna push. I mean, if you hear, oh, it's an email, might be a client. No. It's even, I mean, with time and you create the discipline, you can actually do it straight on the system. The thing with it is that it's a computer and it's a distraction. Before you know, you're clicking on something else. And before you know, you're doing something else, not doing the calls. The way the system recommends is to actually kind of like almost print a list and call from the list and just next to it, write any updates. After you're done calling, then you go into the system and update. Why? That's distraction. Because like for me, I always move like the like I have different pages of apps. So what I do is I hide my social media in the back. Because why? Because if I'm a little what's that?
Easily distracted. Or
OCD. If like I told you last time, I don't like.
I think it's more ADD, attention deficit, right? Because you're like.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stay focused.
Yeah.
So it's, I scroll everywhere. Little. So, and how many of us are like that?
For sure.
And if we lead generating, I can guarantee you 10x that, right? So, because it's just what we do. So make sure, okay, and I told you that this part right here doesn't matter if you don't remember absolutely anything Bob, teach you yesterday? No. Anything anything that you have learned the entire process, or that you learn from here on. I can show you how to make $250,000. Okay? Without ever doing real estate, just doing this. I'll pay you 50%. If you make a call, give me a listing appointment, and I approve it, I do 50%. You get good at that, then you start, you can be the paper person at the college, even when you change them, you can be percent, you never have to learn, you never have to do anything. When I think I'm missing a 100%, you better believe it. You need to write it on the list. But if you can follow up with people and connect with people and get them to trust you, okay? Well, you know what? My partner's gonna be coming over. This is making money. And that's why this class, that's why I choose the class, I like it, because I have to.
Feel passionate about it.
Lead generating and the follow-up, and then my favorite part, I'm gonna teach them on the 10th of February to close it.
Over there.
Yeah, it's taking control. Okay,
And,
so, that's why skill set. Imagine if, somebody goes to school for brain surgery. And he finishes school, then goes to the hospital and is gonna do his first surgery. Never saw it before, never practiced before, never. Doesn't happen that way, right? So
May not be.
why,
That's what I.
did you know that every call you make in this market can be worth $25,000? Okay, let me ask you something. If I told you, right, that I'm interested in selling my house. You're gonna come see me. And it's the first time you're gonna do your listing presentation. Will you practice at People County? Yes. You'd be surprised how many people go. Right?
Right, after practicing.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing. When we don't practice our scripts. And we make phone calls on our leads. We're performing surgery without having practice, and we practice it now on our clients. When you script practice, you can mess it up. When you script practice, you can start over. When you script practice, you can, I mean, whatever, as long as you learn it, do it anyway. But you practice. When you practice on your client, you just blew up $25,000. And if you think of it that way, next time you make a call, is this the $25,000 call? That's what you should ask yourself. Look, I'm not all about the money. You know what I like about this business? That's nice. Okay, it's winning, being able to do it. That is just like, So, money's nice too. But it can be everywhere, right? I mean, you have to have that, the passion to do what you don't like doing. Right, because imagine developing a passion for calling people and they might yell at you and then it's hard. But you just look at it as another number to go through, zero, right? This is a numbers game. Okay, next. And this is the other piece that will help you also understand why people at times yell at you. You might have just interrupted a fight between a couple. You could have just interrupted somebody family was taxing. You could have interrupted somebody losing their job. You could have interrupted about anything. So you don't know who you're calling and what they're going to get about. If you look at it from that perspective, you'll be able to say somebody again. But what do you want the outcome to be? for them to take a call and we can do a little more report and for that to turn into something down the line. Look. Like I told you before, you cannot make anybody do what they're not ready to do or what they don't want to do. So if they're not ready to buy, are you gonna get a yes from them?
No.
If they don't qualify, well, they haven't been qualified, I mean. So what it means is that all you can be is in front of them, via phone, in person. Look, if they like you and trust you, it's just a matter of them being ready. Or you haven't created enough value for them to educate them on how important it is for them to buy the house. That's the only influence you can have. For them to see it and for them to get it from you, that it's a good thing. What you're telling them, and that you're not just people smell that commission, commission breath. I mean, I'm gonna share that one on the next one, but just real quick, right? I'm an escrow on a property in Inglewood. And the agent literally told me, hey, there's, yeah, let's do this, after we open escrow, let's do this, and if you plan can, close early, that would be great. Because I really need to get paid. I think, well, that's just like when you start on 4 days. My clients are very happy. And as a matter of fact, yesterday, out of technicality, I got him a new roof. But I mean, that's commission breath. Right? First of all, that's a violation of your fiduciary. Your plan.
How they get you?
Oh, it's just a matter of negotiation. There was, I found out there was some damage brain damage to the house. There was a payout from an insurance company, but it was never done. And then I follow up as a state. So now because the claim is actually filed. When the clients go and look for insurance, who's gonna show? So contacted the state and practically told them that that was paid out and there's this up to the new.
So how did you find it out? So we should do that on the app.
Well, first was the insurance. The insurance was the one that put the bug on my head. When my client called the AAA, they mentioned something about the claim. Well, when we did the inspection, the roof has damage. But because we had already accepted the property the way it was, they were not gonna do anything because I had gotten a $30,000 discount plus $15,000 credit for us buying down the rate. So now it's gonna be another, the check was cut for $20,000, so I'm hoping to get the entire thing for that. So it can do it. But anyway, and I know it, but that's, I guess my point was to make the sort of like the things people do because the commission break. When we're in a hurry, I mean, when we're in a hurry for somebody to like trying to get them into escrow, trying to put them in a property that they're not 100% sure. That's like a fiduciary to your buyer or seller. Okay. So, and sometimes people do that out of desperation. We always want to have our integrity in our fiduciary to our clients. We're gonna move a little faster. We talked about cultivate already, remember the funnel? The follow-up. So cultivating, and that's different for your centers of influence. By the way, do you guys know what a center of influence is?
You can know, and then you.
It's usually, let's say, for me, like the Torrance Chamber of Commerce, there's a big center of influence. The, when you go to church, it's a big center of influence, and like I said, you're supposed to. Couple of business, I guess. So those centers of influence, so how do you communicate with them is different than how you communicate with a new lead from an open house. So you just like cooking, you just move them on the file until they. And they're gonna be ready on their own time. Okay? And by the way, if you haven't talked to people in a long time, and all of a sudden you're calling them because you're doing real estate. Yeah. Hi, Jennifer. This is Aaron. I haven't seen you in like 5 years. But Jennifer, I was telling you, guess what? I'm doing real estate. You know anybody that wants to sell?
No, I haven't talked to you forever.
I know, I'm so
Aaron,
sorry. I know, but you know, I want to sell like 12 houses this year.
Well, if I know anybody else.
Right. So what are you gonna, what's called today? If we're gonna talk agriculture,
You gotta be great.
you plant the seed. Really good water, grow it, take care of it. You see, girl. Now. Hello, hi Jennifer, this is Aaron Alcides. I'm sorry, I missed you, oh my God, about 5 years since I see you?
It's been a minute.
Oh my God, yeah, well, you know what? It's interesting, I was going through my contacts and I saw your number. And I just wanted to reach out, see, how you doing?
I'm good, what's going on?
No, just, got married and went to Mexico, probably. Have you done anything fun lately?
You didn't invite me to the wedding?
I know, it was a small destination wedding.
I'm going to Mexico.
Oh, it was in Hawaii.
Oh,
So,
wow. Oh.
no, I'm
Oh,
What is?
oh,
All I'm saying is that. Oh, it'd be different if it's been that long, right? You just want to go back and reconnect with Jennifer, and preferably ask how she's doing, what is she up to? She gave me an opening when she says, like, what's going on? What are you up to, like, this man? So you can use that it was too soon. You want to just make that first call and just like reconnect. With a task and command to follow up with her in a couple of weeks. And that second call now goes, hey Jennifer, remember I told you that I was gonna stay in touch? How you doing? Oh, perfect. Because you literally, and this is how you, and this is how your friends are gonna start avoiding you. Because you do the order for the first call. You do the call about you. You do the call about like what's important to you. Okay? And actually I was talking to Bob because it was yesterday after the class. And if you don't have the discipline to do the follow-up and make this call, come see Bob in the morning. Make that your block time. Make that you accountable, have him help you be accountable. Because if you just come here and just to see Bob, I can guarantee you Bob's going to money. Are you? So you make those calls with him, have him hear you make those calls. He's gonna make you do stuff. He's gonna make you do stuff. The problem is uncomfortable. The problem is like, ooh. But guess what? The only way to get through it. Break through it. It hurts. It's not. It's never that easy. Okay, so do that with your friends, and you're not going to be this right. you can share your goals once you have actually reconnected. And when you ask for referrals, and you told me about an exercise that he did with you guys, I think, yesterday on somebody that, on how to, get a referral. If you have people, you have circle of influence, or people that are gonna refer your business, guess what? Train them. Don't just go and say, Jennifer, I need to sell 12 houses this year, who do you know?
Mm.
Well, I think I know somebody at church that was looking to buy a house. Give me, here's my card, give it to me.
Mm.
Here's how you do it. Yeah. My business is so much better when it's through referrals. And you've always been a big supporter of mine, and I appreciate that. If you ever hear of someone wanting to buy or sell, can you do me a favor and get their permission for you to give me their number?
Mm.
Because I'm gonna call them. And the reason why I don't give them my card, because I give them away all the time and they never call me. You know how many times I hear, oh, I gave you a business card? You know how many calls I get? Zero. But if they do what I tell them to do, now, when they tell me that, then I'm trying to, because I say, oh, by the way, next time, ask permission for me to call them. And they give me their number. That right there. Now, if you don't call that, and believe it or not, there's people that don't call. That's crazy. It is absolutely insane. And I'm on your face about that in reference to like not making the calls. And we're gonna finish soon. Oh, there you go. The reason why I keep emphasizing that people don't do things is because they don't. If people did, I wouldn't say it. And I say it as so many times because I want to make you feel that. Because I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to be that group. Okay? I want you that group. Because I see people will teach this classes, and I see people come in. I want to see your faces around here. Long time. And the way I get to see your faces, you do this. Yeah. Great. So once you have the lead, that lead is no good unless you meet with them. Connect. Okay. My success rate when I make an appointment or they come to my office and meet with me and the lender, 100%. When I meet somebody and they're just like, oh no, just send me some properties. I already talked to my lender. I already have this, I already have that. It gets reduced to very, very minimum. The appointment, meeting with them, cements the relationship. At that moment, you become their realtor. Until that moment, you are only a realtor they met and nothing else. And if you're not careful, then you become somebody they used to know. My worst day, making calls, and this happens consecutively, 3 calls, consecutive calls. From leads that were a little old, and I probably have not done a very good job of continuing to follow up with them. 3 consecutive calls, all 3 of them, one after the other told me that they had already bought. Have you ever get that feeling where you just like, you just get this hole in your stomach? What happened? It was so discouraging. And these are people that had actually been in communication. The problem is that we get discouraged when we say, no answer, no answer. Left the voicemail, no answer. Next time you come across that contact, we're so easy to go to the next one. So my rule about following up and trying to get the appointment, you call until they tell you to go do something really bad to yourself. Relentless. If they give you their information, and at one point there was a connection, now it's your job to just keep the flame going. Right? I promise that we miss that a lot, a lot. Another, and I still coach my team on this. Sometimes literally they're on the phone, they already got the appointment and they keep talking. And I'm like, literally, sometimes they're facing the other way I go. I have had this, I got to listening appointments, because people could say, oh, can you come see, the son of the team, and I'm like, dude, they already said yes. They already signed the agreement. I was just talking about now you go into relationship. So that we can say something in the process of thinking that we're connecting. That can be deadly to the relationship. Or we can show our being inadequate. But we can show how much we don't know. Oh, yes, that's scary. Because we don't know when to find out. So once they say yes, you clarify, perfect. You do it through this way, you confirm the appointment. Correct. So we're gonna meet this day at this time. My office, here's the address. Perfect. And by the way, the sooner you get the appointment, the higher the close rate. I jumped. It's not the close rate, it's the show up rate. You know how many appointments are set and people don't show up? So you have to stay in a relationship with them from the time you make the appointment to the time of them showing up. The closer they make the appointment to when you call them, the better chance of showing up. Okay? So, and what you do is you call them, by the way, when you make the appointment at that time, you can start saying it properly. And one of the things that I use is, I use concierge, MLS. You set up people on concierge. You don't just send them emails, because if you put them on an email drift of properties, they get everything that they didn't ask you for. And that's just being a lazy agent. Concierge allows you for you to review the properties and for you to know that this property meets what they ask you for. Because what else it does? Lets you see if they sold the property. You can stop them that way. So you can see when they sold the property. You want to test how committed your appointment or your buyer is by using that system? This is what you do. Once you see that they saw it, but they don't know you saw it. Once you know, you call them. Jennifer, did you get a chance to see that property I stay in? Oh, no, I haven't had time. I need to work on her. She could like me. So I thought we had a relationship. But so that's how you test it. Or if you see it, well, actually no, when you send it, what you do is you call and say, Jennifer, I was reviewing the properties that I sent you. Man, I saw this one. I wanted to please go see it. This one is almost exactly what you described it. Right? Am I talking about the appointment? No, but at the end I will. I'll say, Jennifer, we're meeting Saturday morning, so Friday I'll confirm with you, okay? And please let me know if anything changes. So it doesn't just set the appointment, and I'm like. Wait. This relationship stuff? Okay, do another experiment. You're married. Stop being nice to your husband, or what? You how long that lasts.
Is it one?
Stop being nice to your husband or wife. To see how long that lasts.
I want what?
The relationship.
I've been married almost 30 years, and so it's okay.
And I mean, but I'm saying, when you're in relationship with, let's say, this appointment. Right? You can be dismissive, if you're not constantly, like, bringing value to your client. You break the apart. It's a really, I mean, and that's what I tell you, it doesn't matter if you have a relationship with a cat. Right, if you always there for the cat, it's always gonna be with you. That's why you're wild, if you're bad, then they do their own thing, they don't know your sister, trying to feed them. But anyway, that's just a way of describing, it. Okay. Who can read that aloud? Need a volunteer? Okay,
In the end, if they can meet and have a good enough reason to meet, they will meet. And if they don't, they won't. And that's okay. You really don't care what their answer ultimately is, because you're not getting people to do anything they don't want to do. You're just going to ask and respond until they agree that meeting with you makes sense, or it doesn't. Either way, you both win. It's a win-win.
have you heard that before?
No. But it sounds good.
I have said the part about that you're not gonna get anyone to do anything they're not ready to. At least 40 times. So,
Also, I have heard it before, yes.
so the key here is that the activity, one day you could like probably have 3 people screaming at you. And the next day, the first call you make, literally, come this my house.
Perfect.
It happens. It happened to Richard. Yeah, it just happened to Richard. This was an older lady. And we called and said, hey, by the way, you asked for evaluation on your home. Has anybody reached out to you? No. Your answer. I said, well, I can get that done for you, how would you like it to be delivered? And he's like, well, I'm going for a divorce and I'm, ready to sell my house, when can you come? Richard looks at me. So, it happens. Guess what you do? What do you do right after that? What?
Jump up and down.
You do a little celebration. Battle again. Guess what most people do?
Last time.
No, they go, they have the address, now the good people comes, now they actually, they're preparing because, they're gonna go on a written presentation. And they stop coming.
So you finish your time, block.
The best time to call, by the way, remember this, please. The best time to call when something like that just happened to you.
Your pop.
Yeah.
Our brain can produce amazing medicine, and our brain can produce crazy stuff. Poison. Capable. The juices that you got going on when something like that happens, oh my. It's exactly what you need to come across and connect with the next person. So I literally told Richard, drop it. Dial again. Because and when I was talking about taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, is that you want your brain to release those juices. Right? Because if you're in that right energy, but our bodies, everything is energy, right? But we can have two different energies and never connect. The frequency of energy is what's important here. How do we match it? How do we connect? The better or the more we work on our, if you're in a bad mood, if you're just like, if you have a headache, take whatever you take for a headache before you start making those calls. It just makes a huge, huge difference. Because people are going to be able to notice that. They will. Are you okay? Have you ever heard that? Are you on the
Yeah.
phone? You haven't told them nothing? You should say hi. Are you okay? Why? Because we sound like it. We sound like we feel. We sound like we. So, but if you're feeling good, hey, what you got going on over there? They can actually, I mean, without.
No, it's true, people can hear us smile.
Mhm.
I mean, just smile while you're talking. People can hear
Smile on
smile.
your face.
Get that.
So if you make the last call and the last call say, yeah, I feel this, yeah, and that. Just go. Reset. Because if you're not, if you're still thinking about that last call when you're making the next one, that's the energy. Uh-huh.
Twelve calls.
12 instead of 8.
Ah,
God, right.
Not just 12 calls.
12 conversations.
12
conversations.
12 conversations,
All right.
12 conversations.
No
Remember,
distraction.
I mean, if they don't pick up the phone, what did you do? Nothing. I know.
So that would make it count.
No.
That didn't even happen.
So when you tell me, oh, I don't have numbers to call right now. Well, how many didn't pick up? But then, okay, so this is what we do. Monday. You have to file leads from, if you get an open house, you're gonna have some. So you call them when you first get in the morning. Okay? And if they don't pick up. Some people leave messages, I usually don't, on the first time. You call them later that day. If you still don't have anything. You call them the next day. If you still don't have anything. You keep going, you keep calling them. And or you text. A lot of people, you know what, people respond to texts. One thing I'm doing with my team right now is I'm actually doing a video. And what we're gonna be doing with the, so this way they can't say, I don't remember you. One thing we're doing with the video is, they're gonna have a generic video that says, hi, thank you for coming to my open house. This is, this is Aaron Nelson, it's saying hi. Thank you, but do the same spiel. Thank you for coming and making my day shorter. I really appreciate it. I said I was gonna call you, and here I am.
Let's feel that.
It's good.
Video. Why? It has the opening rate. Depending on how you do it. Don't get too fancy about it. Don't be too worried about it. Okay? Because I do the thing that I mentioned last time, the interviews yesterday, that's what I went to do. I went to interview a bakery here in Torrance. Tell me about their business. They have 18,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow. What bakery is it?
It's called Sugar Free Shack.
I was gonna say the keto or something.
Sugar Free Shack, sugar free, amazing bakeries. Because I want to put a picture with her eating, and so this is what I did my video. This is about 9 minutes interview, asking her about the business, how she got started, found out that she can part of a TV show. She won the thing, and so now My assistant went edited the video, put my branding on it, put her branding on it. And guess what she's gonna do with that?
They're collaborative, real, yeah, that's.
We go out to other people.
And I put it on my 12 community pages that I have from Gardena down to all this area. And so I'm promoting her. The interview was about her business,
And she's promoting you.
right? And I have the goodness of my heart. No, and you have to do it sincerely. Because I'm not saying, hey, well, no, I said, by the way, let's support the local business and please come shop local. You're gonna be doing a favor for yourself, and it's absolutely healthy and whatever.
That's a great idea.
I told you, brought my mom, which is great for the interviews.
Yeah.
But, and she can give me exposure to 18,000 local.
Awesome.
So I have all the equipment in here, but it's just one way of doing it, and you can steal that too. So, any more help? Yeah,
Keep calling till they tell you to go do something.
yeah, it has to be really bad for you not to call them. Because
There's time to make a call and after you've had a successful call.
That's a good one.
that right there. I mean, it's just crazy how. Over and over I live it. Okay. The other one that's really important is. Center yourself. Get in the right frame of mind. You have to convince yourself. I mean, how bad do you guys want to do real estate?
Bad, do you want, how bad? How bad,
Bad, really bad.
really bad.
Okay. So now you get to show how bad. You're being equipped
Yes.
with everything you need. Everything. I mean, we don't leave stuff out. Just all the stuff that you've been learning about systems. Okay. So capture, connect, cultivate. Close. So. How many of you are working with leads right now, working with, do you have somebody that you either looking to buy, looking to sell? And how did they go with, did they listing already?
We're just waiting for one of them.
Okay. Perfect. So, notice when we saw a piece of information earlier that said to know the outcome. How do you take that? To know an outcome. Do you know your outcome? What's your outcome of spending these countless hours here in this classroom? Will you define your outcome?
You gotta stop.
You're wrong. It's not, it's not.
You define your outcome.
It's coming.
Because if you haven't defined your outcome, Bob's gonna give you one. So, yeah, what's the outcome?
That's it. Flowers, get there, get 20 sales.
Okay.
Relationships, building relationships, building transactions.
Good relationships.
Okay, so it's not to be like you guys were making stuff up.
Throwing stuff out on the sticks.
Learning how to become great agents, building relationships, making deals with people. You don't know how to do it if I'm in class, learning to talk the way you do that.
Perfect.
Like one day learning people,
So what's an outcome?
What's the outcome?
is.
My yearly goal is my outcome.
Your business plan, Okay, so your outcome is the end result.
Right.
When I used to coach, I used to do what's called the inverted plan. You put the triangle, right? You put it upside down. The end goal is right on the top. So you turn it upside down, and what you do is you start first with the end in mind. Oh. The 7 habits of highly effective people. If you start with the end in mind, then you go back to what happens right before that result. There you go, what happened before that? Until you get to where you are now. So the reason why I say this is because if you don't know the end result, how do you know you're getting there? If you don't have a destination, when you enter a no destination on Google Maps, you have to have a destination, so then you can be guided.
So then our 135 goal that we are.
Yes. Use those tools. Okay, when you say, is everybody here with a coach? Or a mentor?
Yes.
Okay. Hold them accountable. There's a contract. And there's things that the mentors should be doing to qualify to be mentors. If they're not doing their stuff, how can they be mentoring you? Yeah. You know what I tell people? You want to find a coach? That board right there tells people based on their production. There's a list of people there and it shows their production. Sorry.
High production doesn't necessarily make them.
Well, but if they don't have production, you don't have any image. Really good.
We want production in. There's also for cash. Want to share that.
I'm actually taking the leadership council this year. To make sure that, because the way to retain people is to actually get them into business.
I actually have a question about that. Like, I know what our mentors can do for us, but like, what should they be doing? Like to, not to ensure our success, so to speak, but like, like I know that if you ask them, they'll probably help you out with your listing appointment, maybe even go on it with you or do role play, but like, I'm talking like hands-on,
Yeah.
like, are they gonna be available to us to door knock? Are they gonna be available to us to host an event? Are they gonna be, like, what extent are we talking here? That's, I guess, for me, I'm just curious.
You know what I call it? A relationship.
Yeah,
So you develop a relationship. With the public. Literally, I was shocked and sorry. I was shocked when the only requirement is to get 15 minutes a week.
yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. Hey, you want to be a large mentor? Volunteer. Hey, can I go and put the signs up for you? You can do it open, otherwise, I'm just gonna see you. What's your value proposition? So. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, you have to be around real estate to get and learn real estate. Okay, so make sure that, if they need help with something, volunteer for help.
Yeah.
So when you need something, you think they're gonna say no? Hell, so, because it's just really, really important, and then that's the one thing that I'm actually making my sort of goal for this year is to, for one, because you have the productivity coaching program and the mentor. But I think that to be able to get more people into business and to be more successful, we need to do a little more than what we're doing. And that's just my opinion. But
Agree.
okay, so and we just need to make sure that we have the right people on board for that purpose. So I will come and right now this is what happens next for you guys, and this is what we've been talking about.
Did we pass conversion rates? But that's still on our thing. I don't remember seeing that. I think that's just something for us
Which
to
one?
do.
Improve your conversion rates.
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
lot
I
of-
don't think it's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black for time,
Mhm.
use systems and conversations, connect with.
Yeah, so we cover every single one of those.
Okay.
So. The problem is that the way I train is more like, when it's time to put it in, instead of just following this, because it can become very extremely monotonous.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I've been saying what? Okay, you set moment, you focus, you block that time, and what do? You guard that time. Okay, you don't let anybody else come, what are you doing? Okay, so it's important for you to stay focused. I mean, the coach, or your mentor, shouldn't be the one pushing you to do things. You guys want an accountability partner?
Mhm.
There's a few people here. If you guys are not, like, later on, you're gonna be probably exposed to bowl. I don't know if any of you know about bowl.
No.
It's a program that Keller Williams does that is really good. I recommend it. I've done it like 8 times. And one of the things is you get an accountability partner. Showing up on time to the program, the script practicing every day, report your numbers and things like that. But if you're not doing script practicing, you guys should, this is your little alumni, right? You guys should be partnering up with each other. And at least before you get started in the morning, spend 20 minutes. You're not very busy right now, so make it half an hour. Run a script between each other a couple of times back and forth. And when you practice it just to win. I mean, I see, okay, yeah, we're gonna practice. Hi, my name is Aaron. I don't want to talk to you. That's not how you practice. Or you put the objective with a person and you're gonna finish the script. You practice and you master the script. Then you introduce objection to the value of the word, so then only. Right? So you practice until you cannot mess it up. And then you start doing and that's only different script. So, you know, there's scripts for expired, there's scripts for physicals, there's scripts, for what's it called, that random calling? Cold call. Okay, they all work. If you do them. So it's really a matter of what do you do better? You look at your personality, right? What are you good at? How do you connect this? You need to be very honest with yourself and identify. When you meet someone, have you ever had that moment where it's just like, oh my God, it's like, I feel like it's
So natural.
Yeah.
it's a and you can go there, record that. And then go back. Looking back, posture. Look at the environment, where were you at? Look at what kind of person that was. Because with time, you can actually replicate it. Sometimes we do it and we never know where. The problem is that we don't always produce the same thing. It doesn't happen that often, right? But if we can make it actually, if we can trigger it, if we can make it happen, that's in this business. That'll be excellent. Any question?
Can I just add one thing that helps me? Well, doing every job interviews that I have, I always recorded myself. Like pretending of answering questions and I watched it and I see what I'm doing wrong and how I speak and I correct it over and over. I think if you know, we try to like when we do the script, just try to record ourselves, the way we speak, the tone of our voice, the way we smile, just the good practice everything.
Absolutely.
Great, yeah. Good idea.
I do that with my team, and I have a much, the reason why, because,
You don't know how you sound. You don't know what you look
well,
like.
you always gonna sound different to yourself.
Correct, yeah.
Because, I mean, but it's not what you say, you can actually learn the script. You can say the script. But if you don't deliver the script, you got nothing. And the reason why video is good for that is because sometimes, you know, we don't make enough eye contact. It's okay to look away, but when the point that is super important, you have to make sure you deliver.
In their eye.
Right. So body language is 75% of communication. How we say things is more important than what we say. I spent a lot of years in banking, and I always have to, the moment my job was, well, of course, operation and also sales, right? The banks, but now every bank now does sell. We'll try to take account. So sales, to me, everything happened, and my region with American Bank, and that's why I was actually invited to be part of some management here, because they had heard about me through the different chambers and stuff. My region was the number one. I never talked about sales. No, my job was relationship, this conversation. Building a cohesive team. The moment a group of people get together, okay, and they can work together. Sales happened, the audits were great, everything flowed. And most of the time I found out the problem was in each of those offices. What? The management. Okay. Lack of leadership. Nothing like that. Inexperience. Because, and one of the things that when I would go visit the branches, and I learned what not to do from my previous boss, because you would walk in and you would go straight into the office of the manager, sit down, walk out. Should this be fine? Oh no. The manager was the last person I talked to. I'm gonna talk to the part-time teller first. Down the line. Everybody got a little bit of time. I shaped up the branches so quick. And whenever the manager was on the down, or all the employees. I sometimes take those employees as a special project and we'll coach them before work. They will call me and tell me. And it was amazing because the manager would come and say, you did not do that right. Or like, they're saying something, they're doing this. Above it, right? So how you say things and how you communicate with people is huge. And you have to be fully aware where your body is. And I know this has nothing to do with this, but it has to do how effective you are at converting. If you don't handle yourself well, it just makes it a lot harder. There's books in this, there's a really good book called Signals. And that actually even help you how to read people. Attorneys use it a lot when they're in trial. And to read the jury. Anyway, thank you for putting up with me today. I'm gonna come back towards the end. I do need to work on 2 offers that I have on my desk because I have 2 appointments this afternoon, so my original plan was to do call for you guys today. But I
Already.
I need to get that done.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be back. Take a little break, talk to each other, but then go into your own space
Okay.
and please make the calls.
Okay.
Okay, this right here. The secret to your success. It's right there. The whole program is this. And you can do that part-time. You can do, some people can knock it out in an hour.
Yeah.
If it took you an hour, but you actually did this every day, you'll be in business. The problem is that something take all day to do it. They will do it. Okay? So anyway, I'll leave it up there. Any questions? And you can ask me about the class, or you can ask anything. Come on.
Take care.
All right.
No,
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where did you go? My Alex, and I'm good, I'm good, point, we break.
Okay. Later. Lunch today.
Yes. I'm good, I'm good, that air conditioning. That air conditioner is kicking in now.
Whatever. Oh, nice. Yes, sir.
All right. How about that?
Yeah, so you got that?
He was committed, yes.
Oh, well, it had. Yeah, right.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just preparing.
Oh, they.
My Christmas. They can set up your drivers when you're, like, you know how to call and do that yet? No. I just want to do it. Yeah, so basically, because I set it up, I was trying to make copies like. A couple times I have it here, but she does have to install it on her. No, not really, have another. Yeah. No, Holland's, there we go, it's on last. Well, yeah, they install it on.
Yeah.
And have something they can choose to.
Yeah.
I want to be. I did.
Yeah, I just want to repeat that it's not about that.
No, that's the main.
So you'll see here's the property here.
So.
It shows the duplex. And
Go to
to
the
get a basic property, probably you just click get now, it's already got everything in there. So you click get now.
The website. See, they changed the website out.
So this is Title Pro 247. Our toolbox is Sutter, toolbox is for doing farms. Yeah, so. You- on there, but this is. The much more user friendly. So here to take this to our living. The other.
If you.
So this is what. And we'll scroll down.
Big one is, right?
Okay, you delete it.
What you get, you get. Here's the most recent deed. So it goes to the most recent. So the deed is gonna be right here. And you just click on this. Yeah, there's.
Did you make that transfer in there?
And let me go to the deed. Now.
Let's get an agreement in.
Pop up, but then it's gonna hold it.
Maybe I have taken a picture of it.
You not remember.
This is actually a flip line deed. So there's Bertha Jackson, releasing to. So their tenants are common, Bertha Jackson had it. And now the. This is what my name is. Bertha Jackson. And
You said, you take it.
Right. It'll probably have to go from there, you know.
Right. So you let you reset now.
Okay, so you need a probate attorney? Right. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the probate, you could, maybe, I don't know if the probate attorney will be willing, you could just like get paid on the back end of it, you know? So it just depends on the probate attorney that you go to. Yeah, absolutely. There you are, sir. And Christopher?
Chris,
All right, Chris.
So this and the toolbox, they can give similar information, but they're for different purposes.
Yes, exactly. The toolbox is used for creating farms. And then Final Pro 247 I use for forward property profiles. Do you have a card yourself? I'll send you like a breakdown of the different tools and kind of one day. Or you can send me a text message with your email. Okay, perfect.
I did a card like this tonight. So the tool, what is the email for this? One second.
Oh, I'll send it to you in email. So if you just text me your email, it'll have the sign up link on there and everything, so you don't have to write it all down. Hey, kind of doing well, how about yourself?
Doing well.
You as well. Good to see all these people here on a Friday, you know? I love it.
We're voting.
I know. I didn't have this. I don't know what you.
So you're not sure, and anything?
Yeah.
You gotta try to become less of one and more.
Yeah, I get it.
It's still not. You must have had some I didn't even give it, if you knew that. Hello, you know, just on there, you said,
So you have the Title Pro 247? Is that the one that you're using?
Probably the That's what the deed, well, I know that there's, you can see that.
Yeah.
I think it's like that, I think it pushes you to do something else.
Oh.
When I do it, no, I have to do stuff.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, you do. So, yeah, that one's a separate app, but that one's for like doing marketing material and stuff.
But then I have the title box.
Okay, yeah, so title box, that's what I was telling them, title toolbox, I usually only use that for farming. So for creating farms, and then there's Title Pro 247, I know it's a little overwhelming. But Title Pro 247 is much better for pulling like documents and property profiles. And also, if you ever have a listing, their profiles on Title Pro 247 looks much better.
Created a part now in the through training.
Yeah.
Usually, when we create that, we just said that information.
Make your calls.
Did they give you that information through the email or did you?
Title Pro 247. Through the website. So,
But I think
But they,
so, yeah, so they didn't test it.
yeah, kind of, yeah, and I'll send you the deed too, if you just, you're honest. Yeah.
So that you can manage it with the hands and how you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good lunch. Right here. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Use the ID. You know, you keep changing happening. In the next, that thing is the colors are red and they're rotating.
Not because it's very.
I mean, I know it's
right. Where's the little see there? Listen, now, I hope never.
Change.
And
They would change. So the red department.
And it's
But,
because.
cause they done.
So it's like.
You know, things that they. You. System.
Because it was more, yeah, but it was more like. Yeah, my ethical brains and the way that can I both.
Yeah, 'cause that's what they gonna be using.
Yeah. But.
I remember somebody.
I would say it's gone a long way to when I hit a situation where they were kind of either the outcome or my abilities to accomplish. I think there is no something that's happening. When you see another change in later, but that. So the
You. Yeah.
You know what? It's, okay, but
Okay, so this is. Yeah.
But.
Like, click on, look down. So please,
I see.
this
This is why I'm.
right, so you can.
Those are your two.
For this is for any companies, this, you know, upload documents.
For me to upload my documents.
Yeah.
I need to ask the name, I gotta do.
that's the
Yeah.
only way we can do it.
Because, yeah, he just, I think he just. He went to what he went to, I think it's one class. Yeah, he went to the workshop, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't do, won't be doing the person.
Let me call you back, actually, give me 1 second. Okay, did you get the documents? Okay, good.
Bernice, I see a chair have done it. For the.
Okay, you're not going to, you're not, you got.
So is that on the Wednesday webinar? No, I need to. Front page of their thing, where we were yesterday, we was on signing, go to there, and click on signing. Go to their webpage, go to another webpage. Click on sign page, click on signing. Now go down to real estate agent. And go all the way down to the bottom. The green tab that says, okay, so you haven't already registered, right? If you ain't already registered, you have to register, so you gotta do this, click on that, so you can't say. You want, you set an ID, okay, so there's the information that I put in there. We're gonna have an ID, and that's what's gonna be your way to get in all. But I thought Victor said you need to do a presentation representation. They don't know what we're talking about. No. So you know, you got a client that's getting ready to work with the process. Oh, I thought that's ready. No, you don't do it. You ready to do it. You got a client that, so we just tell them not that this is mine. So not that.
Right.
That's what that's about.
It's a buyer limit though.
And so on there, it's gonna say rep agreement with that.
But you need to knock out, like, you put to go upload that.
Oh, you need to knock out these, put any information in his file, so we can get his.
Not ID, so that is his first thing, when he goes to a meeting, the first thing they'll give him after the meeting is
No,
not
he
ID.
said, no, he said it's not, he went to the workshop.
So they go to the workshop,
Yeah.
I give it, okay.
So they give that to you, so and then see where it asks. Person name, the first three letters. What it's put there.
Okay.
And you go on.
Okay, so now this one, I need, I got it, so they need to upload the first, I think, right? Okay, that's. Okay. Thank you, so that's what I do. I will never, I find it, she's my.
Oh, yeah, she's real good. She sends me clients all the time, because when they change their website, the clients was having a problem, even getting in there.
Yeah.
So she asked me, she could, well, if I see you help them get it, I said, sure, because they can't do nothing else if they can't get it.
Yeah, absolutely. When I saw the ID, I mean, in that car, I was like, oh, I'm gonna give her a call now. I want to look at the address of the office. I was like, where's the office? So much.
And. Okay. Yeah. It's you. It was awesome. Get
So the thing is that I'm. It's like, you should, I give you everything. If I give you everything, just, it was a shot and everything, and they give. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why they're connected to it, that's why they're connected. If it comes first, then they are not the IT, it's connected to.
Yeah, well, you have to, they're not gonna be, yeah. Well, there are better things to do in the beginning, that's why last week is. First, notice I'm gonna change, talk about it, then I have to do something, look at. First, as soon as you do that. then I'll get them, this person will do what, which. They want
You've done great, you know.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
I think what if after pays, then I should be able to upload it by maybe that. Right now, it should say before for this. It's not here. This was. This is. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get a non-fund. You have to find something.
So this one here.
With their contact. So they have. He said password, he doesn't use it. So
He was saying that one other money. You need some, but once you do their, but we're higher than me first.
they like, it's handled and actually, but it can't, so they were in my series. And then you come back and engage.
Well, that's the thing, this is the time that they can deal with. With it. And with the everything that they do, then they got those, but it's. Yeah, you don't want to be there, not here. So I think that's probably.
From this.
Oh, you showed me that, man. You know, World out of there. I'll let you guys. Oh, yeah.
Sitting here. She's not where to be. They know. They know. Yeah. Where did you? You have to look. Yeah, we can change. You have to. For example. And really for the still time. So we should be able to choose And we're also.
Oh, don't go in this part.
Go back and just like the middle person, back to real estate. So come up for real estate agents. And we do it in the police. So you go. If you will put information. Sometimes I have money, if I get contact.
I maybe it's it's not for this one. Obviously, but I made a template for. I just have. Yeah. I use the thing that popped up there. Yeah, the little. Then I just put it in my. This is from that one. And you can take it, and I say that.
And go all the way down. And now I'm gonna click on this, it's all about the good schools and then all the way.
So that.
See all the red, and click on that stuff tomorrow.
Because it's.
This is where it's- you're- Those are security information.
I don't think what I was saying that was complete. Is I wanted to make sure that I met her and then I do my check. To make sure.
Okay, now see, so this is set up,
Because
so
you know,
you need to deal like.
and the thing is,
You client, you put them in there, and their information in.
everything I did.
Okay, click on this right here.
Is it attached? Yes. But it
Okay,
came up and
now,
then I
if
said,
you
doesn't-
want to get the client.
we couldn't, and you know, Friday, we couldn't figure it out. Like, yeah, it's actually. Show that it was about
My nephew's girlfriend having a birthday party for their dog. And she just, I just literally got an invitation. I said, wow, you are truly a first time proud dog mom, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, are there gonna be any buyers or sellers? I'll show up with cards and dog treats. Oh.
I'll just say. those.
Say that. You're smart. And you can ask me, Kevin, the one thing I love. No. What's the difference? This is 3 days. You'll get the color along the street. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a minute short. She that work finance. I know. Sad, I think he got to do it. So I would say. Kinsey, this is me and I'm in the office, I'm living in Raven's time, and she's very protective, and I want her to see hi. And some of the things she said, so.
Hi, my name is Skylar. The way that I've been getting a lot of my leads is through open houses. It really helps getting down their information and everything that I need to know about them as a person. And I currently I'm in the works of getting my friends listing, and that's from family, but anything else.
Yeah. Great. So. What's going to be a fantastic agent, because he's going to be great, it's going to be ours, right, Scott?
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of her. So go to it.
Thanks. Yeah.
Oh, wow, really? Yeah.
Yeah, this here, so here's some not practice, here's some not script. We can practice. Okay, good for, make sure.
That's up to.
Can you put it on the?
We'd have to ask. I know yesterday. And we had to have.
Man. I'm not telling your husband, like, it's too loud. It's too loud. It's too loud.
He's, I know all the time, why do you tell us about? See. Hello.
Well,
Is everyone, I'm not on team.
Tell you what it's taking.
that's what I was gonna say.
too, that's why we can say IT. It's very, very important. Closing. I'm gonna say that, I said, really,
So, yeah, hard to talk about. Doesn't matter. I understand this team, you're. Well, it's branch, but it's, we could even thank you, so, second, by the way, let me say more kids. It's my goal as mostly special. It's my goal as mostly specialist in the area, and to make this. That is so not good.
So then what we have to do is read what she's saying and then see that. And say, I'm not gonna say it.
I'm here to ask us one question. One thing we don't. Maybe some good.
I'm not saying that either.
No, I don't want it. That's I know it's not. Okay. I think it's very good. Then I say, they come in my neighborhood. Well, here's hard. The homeowner's desire. My name is.
Not gonna say, how long have you been here? And what are the assets of this? Matter what you like to say.
Yeah. The next one is here, so if you go to a neighborhood where she's living at her home, you could say, hi, my name is Bill.